You're listening to the objective jerk, the electric objective, the objective electric, the electric jerk. You're listening to the electric jerk. Now, you're listening to the objective jerk, and I am said jerk. How's everybody doing? Things are crazy. Man, things are crazy. I mean, lately it's always crazy in the States, but in the Philippines too, you got a lot of people that are protesting. But it's a little more, it appears it's a more organic than a lot of the protests that happen in the States. And what I mean by that is it's not being funded or pushed by, somebody, an entity or whatever. This is people pissed off about corruption. And it's good though. I mean, it's, you have these people that are in charge of, improving infrastructure, and they do it cheaply or they do whatever, and then it ends, and then it's, so they skim it. Instead of doing it the best possible way, they take a little bit of the money and then they do a poor job of it, and then it doesn't get fixed. And so that's what people like. So they have DPW, Department of Public Works, and because of rainy season, typhoons and stuff here, there are areas that are very susceptible to flooding. I mean, throughout Philippines, right? Like where I'm at, it's not too bad. I live like on a farm, and I hear the static. I gotta turn this down a little bit, I think. So my house, my little property is like surrounded by farmland, and then there's a little gap, and then there's like another house or property or whatever, right? God, why do I always hit my microphone? But so when it gets really bad, the farm area will, fill up, and it's like I have like lakeside property for, a day or something like that. And then like down the road, it kind of goes over it and stuff, but that's about it. But there's a neighborhood or barangay just down the road a ways that, man, their whole area always just floods like crazy. And I'm just like, dude, there's no way. I mean, I know it's easy for me to say, but I would not live there. So it's a problem, And then when you have government officials abusing their power and trying to, we're going to fix the flooding, and then they don't, and they take that money and they go buy themselves nice cars and build themselves nice houses that don't have flooding and all that crap. I mean, there's more to it, but that's kind of the gist of the individuals who are protesting and stuff here in the Philippines. So, I mean, they have a legitimate reason to protest, unlike in the States when George Floyd or whatever, and there's all the, bullshit protesting. So, anyway, so that's kind of going on. And then you had Charlie Kirk's funeral, I guess. I didn't watch it. I mean, I've seen some clips, I guess, and then what else is going on? So, like I said, there's a hurricane or a typhoon. I always say hurricane, but it's a typhoon. I don't know the difference. I guess just where they're at. Hurricanes are in one in the Pacific Ocean or the Atlantic Ocean. In the Pacific, it's typhoons. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just kind of guessing. But anyway, so there is a typhoon, but it's pretty far away, but we're still getting hit with some wind and rain and everything. So got to make sure we got some gas for the generator. Everything's closed. Did I talk about that already? So it's a typical, but I mean, man, it's almost October. Usually this stuff's over by now, but it's not as bad as, I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. It was like every week for like a month, we had a new tropical storm come in, and it was just more of the same. It got pretty tiring, and it got old quick. Thank goodness it's not like that on a regular basis. Maybe certain parts of the main island, maybe they kind of get pretty regularly. But like this year, we hadn't really. This is going to be about it looks like. So that's kind of nice. So that's going on with me. Philippines. I went to a pageant again. For those that don't know, Filipinos love their pageants. They have different, all kinds of, they love putting on like pageant type, dance recital shows, high school, even, outside of high school, college. It's kind of ridiculous, man. It's just all the time. It's kind of annoying, to be honest with you. For me, my son has been involved. My oldest has been involved in them a couple times, but he's kind of like, nah, I'm done with that stuff. I know his school, his college wants him to kind of maybe be a representative, possibly, but he needs to he's trying to get situated in the whole college life. But he was asked to be a judge in a smaller town up north for, a for a pageant for a high school. What do they call it? Intramurals. And so my wife was like, "Hey, do you want to drive me?" And I'm like, "Oh man." So the thing started supposedly at 6. We had to leave here at 4 because it takes roughly 2 hours to get there. It doesn't, but the way people drive here, it does. So when we came back, it took us like an hour. But because it was late at night. But I was really not wanting to go, not looking forward to it because I don't care about this crap anymore. I don't know. It's not, it's not my thing. I'll go and support my kids and stuff like that. But at the same time, I didn't feel like sitting at home alone. So I was like, okay, I'll go. But I was like, man, this is going to turn in. And all their stuff just takes hours upon hours. What should have taken, 2 to 3 hours takes like 5 to 6 hours, So I was like, so if it starts at 6, it's going to go to like 11, midnight. We're going to get home 1, 2. And it's like I had plans the next morning to get up early to work on my bike trail. So I was like, man, I guess. So I just canceled that. But when we got there, I asked the guy in charge, and he was like, no, it should take 2.5, maybe 3 at most. So I was like, okay, well, that's nice. That's good to know. And we didn't sit through the whole thing. It was, me and my wife went to a little coffee pizza shop thingy, and it was a really small town, I guess similar to the town I live in before it became a city. It was a province, I guess they call it. But it was nice because the weather wasn't as bad, but they're like city hall type area where they have a basketball court and they held this and they hold whatever else. It was enclosed in. It had big, massive fans, and they actually had a bunch of air conditioners. They weren't using the air conditioners because it wasn't needed, but it was just kind of nice because it was enclosed. So like the equivalent to that here in the city I live in is just a covered, and it's just always hot, man. It's if the city I lived in had the same setup, I would go to more of the basketball games and the things that my wife, you know what I mean? Because it was nice. Had a nice breeze because of the massive fans, and then obviously if it's really hot, they got the air conditioners, So I was like, man, why can't? It's like I was telling my wife, I was like, we should move here. She didn't think that was funny, but it's not the heat; it's just the humidity, man. It's a killer. Humidity sucks. And again, yes, I knew that when I was looking to move here. That was about the only thing I was like, when I weighed my pros and cons, was the humidity, because I lived in Louisiana, which is pretty humid, and I hated it. The humidity. So I was like, oh man, but I was like, I guess I'll be retired though, so if it's hot, I can be inside. I don't know. I'm still, I'm happy, but like, man, just that heat does kind of. And there are areas that are a little cooler, but we're not going to move anywhere because this is where my wife grew up, so that was kind of the whole point too. Anyway, so there's that going on. There's that. That's pretty much it. So I did that. So it wasn't too bad. It went, I want to say 3 hours though. And it didn't start till 7. 1, 2. Yeah, so it was maybe a little more by the time we left. It was between 11 and 12, I want to say, or something. I don't know. So it wasn't it wasn't as bad as I I thought. And then they had me go up there, though, to give the third place, which they call second runner-up. Like, it's really weird. They're like, here, this is the second runner-up. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. I don't know what it's like, I know first place, second place, third. That's it. So I guess it's second runner-up, first runner-up, and then the winner. I guess that makes sense. But anyway, so they actually tried to get my wife, because my son was a judge. So they have him come down. So there's 3 judges, and he was one of them judging on who, would win the pageant type thing. And towards the end, they asked my wife if she'd go up there, and of course she won't. So it's like, I get stuck doing it. So I had to go up there and, you drape the little thingy and give them the whatever and take a picture.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thanks again for listening to The Objective Jerk. I greatly appreciate it. If you could like, subscribe, comment on wherever you're finding this, and you can also email me at theobjectivejerk@gmail.com. So hope you're enjoying it, and please continue on with the episode. I was just like afraid I'd miss my cue, Anyway, so it, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. But then, yeah, that's kind of it. So my wife's been having some issues with a family member in the hospital. See, the thing here is you can't just take your family member to the hospital. Like in the States, you have visiting hours. The rest of the time, they don't want nobody in there. Here, you have to have somebody. It doesn't have to be a family member. It can be anybody. But somebody has to be there with the person in the hospital to kind of help whatever. So the nurses don't have to, do their job, basically, I guess. I don't know. Like, it's kind of weird. So somebody has to be, if you have a loved one in the hospital, somebody has to be there with them to help kind of facilitates a whole lot of stuff that the nurses do in the States. Maybe that's why they don't get paid well. Maybe, I don't know. The nurses don't get paid dick here. Maybe if they, got rid of having a family member, having to kind of, because, like if you have an old person that needs their diaper changed, it's the loved one that does it, not the nurse. You know what I mean? Or whatever, kind of stuff like that. They didn't have like hospital gowns. Like, it's really kind of disappointing. Anyway, so she was dealing with that. And then, so now today's Sunday. We're trying to do Sundays, have dinner and really do family stuff, watch a movie maybe and things like that. The storm is kind of messing things up a little. Got to go to the gym with my son here. As soon as I'm done with the podcast, got to do some chores, and then we're going to go to the gym. Anyway, so I noticed that I saw that California, where was, oh man, I hate when I got to click on stuff. Or maybe it's on here. Oh, it's, see, Facebook, even if you like don't touch it, and then when you open it, it just automatically refreshes. So now it's like, I should have clicked on it and opened it, I guess. I keep seeing, now that I'll look for it, I ain't gonna find crap.
He was violently killed.
Okay, why is that on? Anyway. Whatchamacallit? So California had passed some sort of legislature law, something saying that law enforcement is not allowed to wear any kind of face covering. They have to show their face, right? And this is in response to ICE, right? Going through and collecting illegal immigrants, and they're covering their faces to hide their identity because they're getting doxxed by retarded lefts. But the thing is, whatever law the California passes, it doesn't mean crap for federal agents. So it's like I don't know, it's all just for show. And what's really kind of stupid is just, so criminals can go around, their face cover, burn buildings, riot, do all this kind of stuff, no problem. But when law enforcement Oh no, can't let law enforcement do that. It's like they're just trying to make it look like they're fighting the system. Look at, we're fighting. We're fighting the system. And it's like, dude, you are the system. What are you talking about? It's just so ridiculous. California is such a shithole. And I'm really afraid my son might end up going there once he graduates. I mean, that's still a few years away, so a lot could change, between now and then. But I have sister's, my wife's sister-in-law. She's a doctor, and they're in the California. She works for the VA, which is cool. But I think she's looking to open up her own little practice. And I think her daughter, she's really smart and she's very, gifted in academia and stuff. And so she's going to, I think, go to school to be a doctor as well. We have my nephew, he's a nurse, but he's in Illinois. And then I think another niece is finishing to be a nurse. And then my son, so I think they're trying to do like a legitimate family practice and have, she wants to open a little and then have some family members as the nurses, which is cool. I'm just like, oh man, California though, dude, they tax so much and then they just take your money and do dumb shit with it. Like that rail system that taxpayers spent billions of dollars on and hasn't done nothing. You know what I mean? Like that's California in a nutshell. And then, of course, all the Palisades, the fires that happened. Now they're taking those lands and they're going to put, cheap housing or government housing, subsidized housing, which everybody knew from the beginning, which, like it's so blatantly obvious that they just burned everybody out of there and is taken over to change. And, that's the system that I don't know. It's just crazy. California is a shithole. And, I get that it's mainly the cities, but it is, the governor's a dumbass. And yeah, the mayor for LA is a dumbass. Not all mayors in all the cities are dumbasses or even Democrats. There's a lot smaller areas and more rural areas that are Republican, but I bet it's kind of hard to be those Republicans in those areas when you have a dipshit governor like Newsom. I can only imagine. Oh, man. And then what else is going on? So then, so Jimmy Kimmel, I heard that they're trying to do some talks. But he's not going to get the job back because, dude, his show was crap. I guess, apparently, this is the first time the left has been successful in a boycott when they were, boycotting Disney and Disney Plus and whatever. But it's because they're the only ones that had the subscriptions, Nobody else had the only people that had subscriptions to Disney Plus are the liberal retards for the most part, So, but then they'll go right back to it. It's all temporary. So that's the thing. Theirs is just for show. When it comes from the right, it's like, no, that's it. Done. Because look at Bud Light has not recovered. And it's all, I don't know, it's all just theatrical, political BS. Let me see. So that's kind of, I don't know, I just wanted to kind of talk. I'm trying not to let my podcast have too big of gaps. I don't want to go 2 weeks or even a week. I'm trying to do every few days, really. But I wasn't overly, but generally for me, it's when something comes up and I really want to talk about it, and I'll talk about it. So that's kind of how my podcast is. But at the same time, I'm just, I don't know. So I kind of go back and forth. So we'll see how this one does. It's I don't, it's not really, I don't know. We'll let the AI figure out what this episode's about, and maybe it will do better than I think, but I don't know. I'm trying to see if there's just any kind of news headlines going on. Well, what's this? So gunmen shouted "Free Palestine" before killing one, injuring two at New Hampshire Country Club. Wow. May not be a trans, but he's definitely a far left psycho. Suspect and victim identified in a New Hampshire Country Club shooting. Okay, so let's see. So if he's yelling "Free Palestine," I mean, could it be a psycho right that's trying to make it look like it's the left? I don't know. So I'm going to click on a left. So I use Free Spoke, and it has like left, middle, right. You know, what do you call it? Like TMZ's left, and then so they have articles on this shooting, but from each each more biased left, right, middle kind of. So I'm kind of curious what it's going to say. So TMZ, suspect and victim identified in deadly shooting. Let's see what they say. Cops have identified the suspect and victim in the deadly shooting that rocked a New Hampshire Country Club over the weekend. Cops say 23-year-old Hunter Nadeau stormed sky, whatever, this and that, opened fire, injuring two people. According to some people, cops say officers rushed to the upscale, whatever. Came reporting shots fired, suffering from injuries. Authorities, blah, 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 treated and expected to survive. See, and they don't say nothing about, Free Palestine. See? No. Oh, no, we just kind of forgot that. Whoops. See, this is the bullshit, man. This is what people are tired of, man. Just report the news. Okay, so that was from far left. Let's look at far right. Let's see. Horror as gunman shouts "Free Palestine." It's in the title, or I forget what they call it. For opening fire at a wedding. Gunman killed one person and injured two others at a wedding in New Hampshire. I don't even think it said anything about a wedding in there. Tom Bartleson, who said he was the uncle, of the groom, recounted hearing the shooter yell "Free Palestine." And the children are safe as the horror scene unfolded. The perpetrator reportedly stormed the wedding reception as the couple took the floor for their... Oh, that sucks. We heard about 6 shots and everybody ducked for cover. Man, I can hear the rain. And Mr. Bartleson said, the next thing you know, we're being rushed into safe spots and things like that. Robert something 59 was confirmed to have been killed. Arrested the Hunter Nadeau. Some witness accounts suggest Nadeau was struck by a chair in the chaos after the gun was fired. Somebody went after him with a chair. Nice. Okay, so went to a wedding and he yelled "Free Palestine." And then you look at TMZ, they're just like country club. Country club. They don't talk anything about the wedding. They don't say nothing about the Free Palestine. See, that's the crap. That's the crap that... This is why so many people have given up on the left, whether it's politics, media, anything, because they're just tired of being told what to think. Eventually, it'll come back around, and it'll be the opposite. Watch someday. I hope not, but like I said, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who you vote, who's in office, whatever. America is done. Eventually, just accept Jesus into your heart, be Catholic, pray the rosary, and you'll be all right. All right, that's it for me. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate your time, and I will see you next time. God bless. All right, bye. You just put yourself through another episode of The Objective Jerk. Thanks again for hanging out with me. Please email me at theobjectivejerk@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, comment, wherever you find this, follow. It all helps. But thanks again, and I'll see you next time.